You can call me Kelly.
Great.
Yeah.
And dang, that wink cut right into my soul, Kelly. But it had to have been a journey going from like promise ring to Jesus to dating boys to like being embodied in yourself and like okay with your expression and your sexuality and what it is. So how'd that go?
I went into a deep depression, but it was a depression of an ego death, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reality death.
I need to be egoless. Yep. I need to just be, I don't have an ego. I've gotten rid of my ego.
Yeah.
That's an ego. Where do you align spiritually these days, Kelly? You were Christian.
Yeah.
Then you were gay.
Yeah. Whole religion by itself. That's a great question.
This is an Onomy podcast.
Hello, growers, grown-ups, babies, inner children. We're figuring it out. Welcome back to the pod. Today on the pod, I have one of my favorite people in the world. She's one of my closest friends. I love her dearly. She is a photographer. She is an author. She's an entrepreneur. And she's just one of my favorite people in the entire world. And I get to share her with you today, which I kind of want to be stingy. You know, I kind of want to keep her to myself, but not today. I'm going to share her with you. She has a book out, a fantasy novel called Aphrodite's Sister. It's the first in a trilogy. It is something she wrote while she was going through her own process of accepting her queerness, accepting that she was gay, and accepting that she was an empath and felt really deeply about the world. And she kind of wrote this fantasy allegory with Greek gods and goddesses about that journey. And it's a wonderful book. She's a wonderful person. And we talk about, identity, her process of growing up, what it was like embracing her own gayness, her incredible business that she built with photography, and this book that is now out. I'm so excited for you to meet her. She's the best. I love her dearly. Enjoy my talk with Kelly Balch. Speeding, rolling. Speeding and rolling. We're speeding and we're rolling. Kelly Balch. I'm going to try and be serious with you.
Same.
Let's try and have a podcast interview. This is going to be great.
Yeah.
Hey, how are you?
I'm amazing.
Okay.
It's nice to see your beautiful face.
It's always nice to see your face. I love you so much.
I love you too.
Listeners, watchers, this is one of my favorite people in the world, and a person who I want to talk to and interview and expose you to. I want you to expose yourself to them.
Ready to be exposed.
Okay. Oh, what day is it? Kelly, hi. Welcome to my podcast.
Yes. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
You're just killing it with these podcasts.
Thanks. It's been a fun year with these.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's talk about you, Kelly. I love you so much. I've gotten to watch you grow over, I don't know, have we been friends 10 years now? Something like that.
No, it's been like
Over?
almost 15.
Oh my goodness.
14, 15 years?
Yeah, goodness.
Yeah.
So I've gotten to watch you grow as a person, as an entrepreneur. You started a business that like creates this incredible life for you and brings a lot of joy to people. Now, well, you've been an author, but now you're an author to me because now I finally read your book. And you have a new publishing company.
Like
so
stepping into that role for sure as more as an author.
Yeah, which is incredible. That has actually really blew my mind because you've talked about your writing for years and I just never read it. And as I was starting to read your book, I was like, oh, Kelly wrote a book. Like Kelly wrote a novel.
I love getting your voice message and you're just like, yo, it's a real thing.
Yeah. And it's not that I didn't doubt.
No,
I just had no concept for what your writing was. And it was just like, hey, dude.
Because a lot of people assume that it's going to be a photography book or like some stories of me doing photography. And it's completely out of like, it's a fantasy fiction.
Yeah.
Queer fantasy fiction. So it's just like, and it's like based on my life. So you're just like, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
And you were just so cute. You're just like, because I know that everybody says that they do things, and especially in LA.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh
no, you do this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like beautifully written, and like it has like this rhythm and this pace, and I really have enjoyed what I've read so far. I haven't gotten all the way through it. Okay.
Yeah.
But tell me, for the listeners, even though this is so weird interviewing you because I know some of these answers, but where did you grow up? And how did you grow up?
And how did I grow up?
Yeah.
I grew up in Palmdale, California, which is just like an hour north of Los Angeles. And it's a desert. It's high desert. I grew up in a beautiful home. You know, my parents are together, and I have 4 siblings. But we grew up very Christian. I think I'm more of the Christian person that out of like my siblings at the time. I was very just going to church. I had a promise ring of those eyebrows. I had so I swore myself to Jesus that I won't have sex until I'm married.
You broke that promise.
I did. Had sex with a woman. Actually. So I grew up very Christian. Mm-hmm. And then I went away to college. And I realized...
Where'd you go to college?
I got a soccer scholarship to go to Kansas Wesleyan, which is a Methodist school. And it was a very small school and still pretty like all white, all Christian pretty much. And it wasn't until I transferred to Cal-Lu that I started taking more religious studies. I actually have my minor in religion and really delve into different type of spiritual beliefs, which then started molding like, oh my God, the Christian belief just... isn't just truth. There are many truths. There are many perspectives of that truth. So I started asking the question, what's my truth? And at the same time, I'm just rolling with it. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, baby.
At the same time, I met a girl on the soccer team and just fell in love with her. And that just broke my reality to transform and let it be a rebirth of new realities. And that's what,
Had you had inclinations that you weren't straight like before college or
No.
really? Wow.
Yeah, and it's hilarious because in my senior year of high school, my mom and my sister had like this intervention because I've been hanging out with this group of friends, and one person I was very close with who was a girl, and they thought we were intimate together, and I was like astounded. I was so just like, are you kidding me? How dare you? And was so frustrated about that. And I realized my frustration was that was a truth I was not ready for.
Right. Like you were defensive because it was
so
actually hitting something.
It was hitting something that was so masked from my religion that I seriously was so aloof to it. Growing up I didn't have a lot of boyfriends. I had a lot of friends. And so even in high school when I dated, I didn't actually date seriously. I had a couple boyfriends, but none that I felt so intimate. Yeah. Because I actually couldn't be intimate with them sexually. Right. And I had a lot of friends. And that's what actually fulfilled me at that time. Yeah. So when I was asked that and put on the spot of like, wait, are you intimate with a girl? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Well, I'm not even intimate with men.
Yeah.
Like, So I was very asexual, I would say. Again, masked.
Yeah. And so interesting that like your mom and sister like...
Oh, they knew.
Yeah. It's like that they saw it and knew before you knew.
Before I knew. It was, well, my mom, when I came out to my mom was in denial. She grew up very Catholic Christian and she was so in denial. Yeah. It's hilarious because just this past Mother's Day, we were looking through just old photo albums. And there's photos of me like short hair, ball cap, and like running around with my shirt off. And like I had Mighty Ducks shirt. And my sister Kara was like, Mom, how did you not know? We were like dying laughing because every photo was me being a tomboy. And I'm like, I'm such a dyke. So gay, Mom. Like, how did you not know? It was hilarious.
Yeah. So it took college, falling in love with a woman. And what was that journey for you? Because, I mean, if you're just listening to this, guys, you can't see Kelly, but Kelly's so attractive. and also you're so, to me, you're so expressed and so who you are now and so not straight. Looking at Kelly, you're like, is that the most beautiful everything I've ever seen?
I mean, what do you mean I'm not
straight?
Straight.
When I go out with Kelly, it's amazing. Everyone's attracted to Kelly. Straight men, gay women,
Dev,
straight women.
You're
Yeah, kind of me too. You know what I'm saying?
That's what's so fun hanging out with you.
Yeah,
because we're just like everybody. It's just
I love
like,
everybody. Let's go.
And it's not just our appearance; it's literally our light. Like both. That's why I love you. And like you walk into a room and you smile and you're just like,
yeah, let's have a good time.
I love you.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
same. But it had to have been a journey going from like promise ring to Jesus, to dating boys, to like being embodied in yourself and like okay with your expression and your sexuality and what it is. So how'd that go post-college?
It was, oh my gosh, post-college, I went into a deep depression, but it was a depression of an ego death, right? Reality death. And so I really sat with myself for a while, and that's when I started finishing writing the book. And it was writing that pretty much was my therapy. And I got to just express everything in that book of just how I felt and what was going on. And it was still, if you read the first book, it's one of three, right? It's still pretty surface. There's still not a lot of depth to it. To me, there was depth, right? Because it was just a new version of layer that I was uncovering of myself. And then it wasn't until like the second and third book that I'm like, wow, this is even deeper.
So you use the writing to like process
absolutely
this change?
Yeah. So that book was my kind of saving grace because I had a broken heart. The girl that I fell in love with, we were both closeted, and it was just so toxic. And so I put everything in that book and the pages, and that really helped me discover of like, okay, this makes sense. Just seeing how it is, rewriting, editing, rewriting again, putting more into it, of just like it zoomed me out.
Yep.
Right. And it kind of like, I almost disassociated a bit, which I felt like it was needed because I was just like, oh my God, like this all makes sense.
Yeah.
This is beautiful. I mean, coming from, again, a very religious perspective, I still was seeing like how God was playing a role in this. So it was just really it was really beautiful. Of just the uncovering of who I am. And
yeah, I love that you used writing to do it. I mean, I get it. Like, I guess music for me is really what does it. Is like, if there's something I'm really struggling with internally that's like hard to process, if I can get myself to express it through something, it usually helps. It like puts it out here.
Exactly.
And then I can actually process it better because it's not just like stuck in me. You know?
Exactly. Oh, that's beautifully said.
Yeah. So I love that you did that. Kelly's, so that's so cool for any listener out there who's maybe going through that or working through your own identity. That's what Kelly's book is literally processing, is your time. Yeah.
And you kind of see a lot of the symbolism of Christianity and how their view of, being queer is. And because there's a big plot line of how she gets kicked out of the heavens. And I didn't get kicked out of my home, but I definitely was, neglected. I love my parents now. They love me to death.
Yes.
But at the time, it was very hard for my parents specifically to process it.
Yeah.
And so I felt like I was, just exiled.
Yeah.
And that's dramatic, but I needed the dramatization for the book, right?
For sure.
But I definitely...
But I'm sure it feels that way.
And within myself.
Yeah.
With him, like I went through a whole thing where I came out to my family, I came out to my friends, but I still did not understand and believe, like, oh my God, is this my new timeline?
Yeah.
And it took me, actually, MITT. Are we allowed to say that?
Sure.
No, yeah, it took me just saying it out loud to myself and to peers that I just didn't know, of just like, I'm gay. And really having that sink in to be like, okay, now I need to take the next step, right?
Yeah, when did it start to feel like, when did you start to feel like more whole with it, like more settled and less conflict about it?
It's been like just little pieces over time of understanding, because I think if you ask me now if I'm like gay or lesbian or gay, if you ask me now if I'm lesbian, I would just still say that I'm fluid and I am me. And I came out to my parents as sapiosexual, which means that I'm attracted to one's mind and one's depth. So I was more attracted to women because they were emotionally, showing who they are and more in depth of those emotions. At least just the men that I was dating at the time, which were mainly athletes, didn't have emotional depth, right?
College athletes,
high school
football
players.
high school boys. Weird.
Yeah. So I was more attracted to the emotional depth of women, and of course, I just am attracted to beauty in general.
Yeah.
But then, as I was diving more into the world, I was like, okay, like I see how I'm attracted to also men who are emotionally connected and have depth.
Yeah.
I still haven't been with a guy though.
Yeah. Yeah.
Haven't dated a guy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wouldn't say that I'm in this box.
Right.
I'm very fluid.
I've never asked you this, even though we're close friends. Do you have pronouns you prefer?
Never needed to ask me.
I mean, but do you have pronouns you prefer?
I mean, like piggybacking off what I just said, I would say I am who I am.
Yeah.
I'm Kelly, and that's always been the case. But because society now is asking for pronouns, I would say, she, they.
Yeah.
I'm a female, so she.
Yeah.
But I still inside feel not, I identify as non-binary, so it's they.
Cool.
But you can call me Kelly.
Great.
Yeah.
And dang, that wink cut right into my soul, Kelly. This episode is sponsored by LMNT Electrolytes, LMNT Electrolytes. You know it. This is my favorite brand of electrolytes. I am so glad they are my sponsor. Electrolytes are an essential part of me taking care of myself. I try and take electrolytes every day. I do work out. I am an active person in my body. But listen, electrolytes aren't just for those of us who exercise regularly. They're not just for athletes. Electrolytes are for everybody, you guys. Electrolytes regulate so much of our body's balance, hydration, nutrient absorption, and we lose electrolytes for all sorts of reasons: sweating, crying, sleeping, drinking, right? Dancing, walking. Like, we are losing electrolytes throughout the day, so it's really important to replenish them. We're talking sodium, potassium, magnesium. With LMNT, you got no sugars involved, no artificial ingredients. And they got some pretty fun flavors. One of my favorites is the lemon habanero. It's actually spicy. I know some of you aren't going to like that. They got plenty for you to choose from. It's a salty flavored water when you mix it in water. Citrus is really good. Watermelon's really good. Like I said, I like the spicy one. But you can try out all the flavors, all right? Right now, LMNT is offering my listeners a free sample pack with any purchase. That's 8 single serving packets free with any LMNT order. This is a great way to try all 8 flavors or share LMNT with a salty friend. Get yours at drinklmnt.com/growdevon. This deal is only available through my link. You must go to drinklmnt.com/growdevon. And LMNT offers no questions asked refunds. Try it totally risk-free. If you don't like it, share it with a salty friend and they'll give you your money back. No questions asked. You have nothing to lose except a better body and better hydration. So get in there. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it was just funny as I knew you were coming on. I was like, I mean, I call Kelly she, and I think she's she, but
she's a she.
But I also know like you're pretty like non-binary in your expression. So I was like, oh, I've never like asked. Yeah. But I figured you would have told me if there was like a sensitive subject around it. You
exactly.
know?
Yeah, that makes me feel actually really comforted that you never needed to ask, because it's just like something that I never had a wall or tension with. You know, it's just like, no, you know?
Yeah, I was like, you would, if there was something sensitive, you would tell me, or I would feel sensitivity around it, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You see me. You don't see.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
It's beyond, whatever your identities are, is like, We're just in this life.
Yes,
you know
exactly.
what I mean?
In this version right now.
Exactly. So cool. So we all have different things in our life that kind of move us forward in our growing up. You know, sometimes they're called rites of passage.
Yeah.
In some cultures, it's like locked in. There's like specific ceremonies for it, right?
Yeah.
To really kind of accentuate, hey, here's the rite of passage, demarcate. You are becoming more mature, and so we go through this ceremony. In our modern lives, we don't really have as clear rites of passage. You know, there's some, I guess, college, marriage, divorce.
Yeah.
There are some, but like it's not so ceremonious as, you know, some cultures. What do you think your rites of passage have been?
That's a great question. I even write a whole version of the rites of passage of the main character in the third book.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's quite beautiful. But I think how I evolve, I think, pretty quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not afraid of change. And therefore, I go through a lot of different versions of rites of passage. Marriage being one of them was like, all right, this is a new timeline that I'm entering. And then divorce was another big one of like redefining who I am alone. And then actually just yesterday, I went through another rites of passage because I've been trying to let go of one identity of being a photographer, a queer wedding photographer, and now being an author. So that was like a huge hit of like self, of like grieving over this identity and having to kill that off, right? That's what rites of passage is that you're killing off your young life and becoming an adult. But we have a lot of macro and micro rites of passages through our life.
Right.
And so this was another, I think, macro for me, or semi-macro of like, that was an identity. And now I'm going to another identity.
Are you stopping being a wedding photographer entirely?
No, not entirely.
Okay.
But I'm going to start putting more energy into being an author and seeing these books through. It was just, photography was really, I think I came to a ceiling and it wasn't giving me as much joy anymore. And so I'm always like, what's bringing me joy? What's my next step?
Yeah.
And so, being
and
an
it's
author
okay to evolve and let go.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
I know some people be like, no, I'm content with this, but finding a little micro, ego deaths or rites of passage, I think is very, very important.
Yeah, I think so. Like just letting yourself shed an identity throughout our lives. You know, it comes in big cycles.
Yeah, exactly.
And like you're feeling a little stuck. It's like, yeah, probably because things have gotten a little stuck. So be willing to go through a little discomfort and change it. You did create an amazing wedding photography business and just like community. Like you're amazing at that. I've gotten to edit some of your photos.
You did?
And I've gotten to be at some weddings with you. And like,
oh my God, yeah.
I was so impressed watching, right? Because a lot of people can say they're a photographer. A lot of people can take photos.
Yeah.
Not everyone can build a sustaining business and brand and like demand for themselves and bring as much like light as you do to the people you work with, like your clients. I've seen it. It's incredible. And I got to watch you build it over 10 years and be like, damn, Kelly, you're a boss. Like you really built a business.
Thank you, Dev.
Yeah.
Thank you. That really means a lot. Yeah, sustainability I think is just not in the technique, it's in the empathy towards the clients. And I have a lot of empathy, but now it's like, okay, I need to actually now do a little bit of selfishness and a little bit of like, what's my next new path? Because I think any wedding photographer knows that you give so much of yourself. You hold a lot of space. And so now it's like, that's part of the new rites of passage is like, I don't think I've ever been selfish. And so now I think being selfish is not toxic. It can turn into a toxic trait if it's, on the one side of the pendulum. But I'm now trying to be a part of that, of like, now I need energy.
That's awesome. I think that happens to us at different times in our life. And for sure, getting into my 30s, like that shift really started to occur of like, all right, these next 10 years, like there's things that I need to make happen.
Yeah,
there's things that I desire for my life, like big picture, that I'm going to have to prioritize. I'm going to have to choose. I'm going to have to be clear about. I'm going to have to choose me. And I'm going to have to choose this vision and this path and choose who I'm like in my life with.
Yeah.
Like I have to feel that all the relationships in my life have this reciprocity of energy, not of, some of them are work relationships, right? And I need reciprocity there. Some of them are just love and friendship and intimacy, but I need it to be equal because I'm bringing a lot and I want a lot from my life.
Yes, exactly.
So I need the people in my life to match it.
Yeah. We talked a lot about this too, you and I, just like, you know, every day to day, and like seeing you grow and like giving so much, and then now being like, okay, now I'm trying to build it, and then having kind of reservations about that. Yeah, absolutely. Like just holding, and you're like, I don't know which path, and it's just been, I think that, you know, we are told, like, I didn't realize now these terminologies of people pleasing, right?
Yeah.
I realize there are small kind of toxicities to that, to small little identities of that, of like, okay, people pleasing could be good, but also to an extent not so much, right?
Yeah.
And
the
so it's
intention's
like
good with people pleasing.
Right.
You're trying actually to be good, you're good intentioned, but it actually just doesn't work.
You got to find the balance in like all these different identities and all these sub characteristics of those identities. And I think and that's what I realize of like, okay, I have to actually get an ego, a bit of an ego, because a healthy ego, because I need it. It helps move things forward of what you're trying to actually accomplish. Yeah. Right. Otherwise, nobody's going to know about you.
Yeah.
And so maintaining that healthy ego, and also that healthy of people pleasing, and like you said, you know, the type of reciprocity.
Reciprocity. You got it.
Reciprocity.
Yeah.
The reciprocal energy of things. Like that's been like very, you know, prevalent on our tongues, I think, for the past couple years.
Yeah, because it matters.
Yeah.
Reciprocity.
That means something in another language, I know. But
yeah. Yeah, that's been an important part of my like growing up, has been letting go of the people pleaser in me.
Yeah.
And being willing, like you said,
to an extent though, right? Like
my default is still kindness to people. Yeah. But just not like making it the top of the pyramid in my like priorities, you know, or my virtues. Yeah. And you said healthy ego. I love that, man. Like baby spirituality, and I don't mean that in a derogatory way. I just mean like new spirituality, when you're first touching it, is like, oh, no ego. I need to be egoless. I need to just be, I don't have an ego. I've gotten rid of my ego.
Yeah, yeah.
That's an ego.
Yeah. For sure.
But
oh my
like,
God.
That's the baby spirituality, is you first touch any kind of whatever, higher ideal, and you go like, oh, I'm selfless. I help everyone, and I don't have an ego. And then maturing for me has been figuring out none of us get to not have an ego. Sorry, that's life, man. We are an individual self too, and you have to have some level of ego. And like you said, not ego, not conceitedness.
Yeah, that's a different version of it.
I'm better than other people, not let me put people down. None of that business. Just I exist, and I have wants and desires, and I'm going to express them and like do them.
God, well said, Dave.
Right?
You need a podcast or something. That was really good.
You know what? I'll look into that.
Yeah, please do.
Can we get a podcast? Yeah. Could I have a podcast, guys?
No, well said.
Yeah, that's been a real journey of like fully coming into actually like, how do I make my ego, how do I integrate it? How do I become a whole person? How do I become okay that I have an ego?
Yeah.
And stop trying to like spiritual cliche my ego away, you know?
Walk hand in hand with it and being like, okay, I need you for this.
Yeah.
Because if not, then like nobody would know who you are.
Yeah.
I think the ego helps voice.
Yeah.
Or is voice.
It is. Yeah.
So
it's the individual self, you know?
Yeah. And it's beautiful, actually. Like a lot of people, you look on my feed and there's so many people that are doing podcasts or speaking out. And I'm like, this is beautiful. This is a healthy ego.
Yeah. Use your voice.
Yeah,
like,
use your voice.
It. Have a voice.
It's beautiful because it's their truth.
Yeah.
And so does it need to resonate? No, but at least they're speaking their truth.
Yeah.
Because I think for so long our society has been suppressed by like, our ego needs to die and all that stuff. And it's like, okay, it can die, but then live and like let live and keep in balance with, with self.
Yeah. Yeah. I've also noticed like a lot of people who default towards like niceness or shyness or even compassion. It's like, those are the people we need to have more voice and be leaders more. But like naturally, those people will shy away from leadership more, and the people who will take it are like kind of the more like oblivious, like brash, actually egotistical, like
one side of the pendulum.
Yeah. And like that's who usually is willing to compete harder, to rise to the top, to use their voice to say this is right and this is wrong.
Yeah.
And it's like a lot of like the sweet, open, understanding people. It's hard to find your voice when you're like that because you're sweet and open and understanding. It's like, no, I'll let other people speak,
Yeah.
I know I had a ton of that in my 20s. Like, I'll let you guys speak.
The observer though too.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the observer. And like you're saying, just like the people pleasing of the like, okay, I want everybody to have a say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has never been a part of this podcast, but I'm going to make it a part of the podcast, which is, what's your sign?
You're adorable because that's such a queer thing to do.
I'm a little queer.
I love you. God, I love you so much.
I'm like straight, just with like a little bend, you know?
Like,
yeah, there's a little flare on my straight.
I know. That's why I love going out with you, because you're just like, no.
So what's your sign?
My sign's a Capricorn.
And do you identify with it?
Yeah, that's part. I mean, like you know this, and that's probably why he's asking. But I love doing birth chart readings, and because there's so many different layers to it. So it's my moon sign's a Gemini, rising as a Sagittarius, and all three of those main things really identify, and they kind of come in at different points and aspects of being.
Yeah.
It's cool because I was just doing a reading the other day, a birth chart reading, but also I do the energy work as well. And I was doing a reading, and they are a Libra, and a Libra is very. Am I allowed to go into this?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean,
yeah. Cool. And a Libra, is very understanding. They're both sides of the scales. They weigh every option.
Yeah.
And they are the sign that actually is the biggest people pleaser. They're called the peacemakers. So then I look at your other different signs, and they had a North Node in Capricorn. Your North Node is who you are destined to be in this life. And theirs is a Capricorn. And Capricorn's energy is they love success. They love climbing the ladder of success. They are very pragmatic, and it's the GOAT. So I was telling her, I was saying, you got to channel your Capricorn for certain type of decisions. When you see yourself in conversation, just letting people fight or or not being able to speak, channel that Capricorn and be thinking logistically and just talk it out. And that really helped them.
Yeah.
What's your sign, Dev?
I'm a Pisces.
Yes.
I'm a Pisces girly. Yeah. And my moon is in Sagittarius. And my rising is a Cancer.
Oh my God, you're so cute.
I like astrology. I like the patterns of astrology. Like, of course, some people judge it. That's fine. People judge everything. But I like the patterns it lays out. And if you ever get your like full birth chart done, there's no way a bunch of that doesn't resonate.
Oh, for
like
sure.
When I read the full
You got yours done?
Yeah, I've had like the free, cafe astrology one done.
Yeah. What's your North Node then?
I don't remember. I just
we have to
remember
do
the main
this.
3, but it's in there, And all of it, I was like, yeah. Or the things that didn't resonate with me in the breakdown of it were things that specifically life experience had shifted out of me, or something specific that I had worked on. But I understood what it was saying, that like maybe that was in my default.
Wait, do we want to talk about that? Do we want? No.
I mean, we can talk about it. There's no rules here, Kelly.
Yes.
This is growing up with Devon, and I'm Devon.
Yeah.
So
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know what.
How do you know what time I was born?
Wait, what did you say?
No, because the internet. No. Because the
internet lies.
Says, guess what? If you Google Devon Werkheiser's net worth, it says $4 million.
Mine says $9 million.
Guess what?
Ooh.
I don't. Yours says 9.
Mine says 9. Bitch. It's a Capricorn, baby. That's hilarious.
The internet lies, but maybe it's a Capricorn. I don't know.
Wait, yeah.
I do like success.
Yes, and that's also why you probably were good friends, because I love a Pisces person, because we get to talk in depth about life and everything else, and that's my favorite thing, and that's in my Saturn. Yeah. And I think you admire my Capricornness, among other things. I went to blink
and you blinked both your eyes. That was the smoothest thing I've ever seen. I don't know if that's true or not, but maybe my North Node's Capricorn.
What's his South Node?
There's no way. Wow.
Oh my God. That is fascinating.
We'll do it off air.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love any insight I can get into. I don't like the parts of astrology that are like, ooh, next week's gonna be bad.
Right. You mean tarot reading?
Tarot, I don't know. Tarot is fine, but just even astrology, it's like, ooh, guys, the moon and then Saturn's doing it. So next week, it's bad. That stuff, I don't like. Anything that I can actually use to connect to myself, my patterns, or my life, and just use neutral, like, give it to me neutral, and then I'll make it work or not. Like, I don't like, I don't like the parts of astrology that's like, ooh.
Well, those are what the performers, we say it's a performance act.
Yeah.
I mean, they will tell you that, like, right now we're going through Pluto's in Capricorn, and Pluto shows the shadow sides of systems, and it can be any kind of system. And however, it's depending on that person. You have free will regardless.
Right.
So if someone's going to be like, oh no, Mercury's in retrograde, and so communication is going to be bad. And it's like, no, I still have the free will and I have pretty good communication. So let's see how that's going to end up.
Your whole specific life is coming into it. Like, there's no way nothing in this world I've found is like an absolute. Nothing applies to everyone. Like, there's always variance. So yeah, that's the side of astrology I don't like. But I do like the side of, like, look up your birth chart, get a little insight into, oh, I do that is a pattern of mine.
Yeah, right.
I love that. Because then with awareness, then I can have, like, choice, right? So I find you can get some good awareness from studying your astrology.
So if your North Node is in Capricorn, that, again, North Node means that this is who you really need to channel in order to be in this life, because that's the lesson that you need. You're doing it. With this, with everything that you were doing, you're actually doing it.
And my life and being has gotten better the more I lean into that side of myself of, like, actually having a vision and seeing it through and working hard and taking the steps and being boundaried and all those things. Being that goat.
Yep. I'm a goat.
I don't know, man.
Goat.
I don't know. It's a journey. It's a journey. I'm trying to figure it out.
It's a goat's journey.
Yeah. I was not effective when I was just people pleasing. Like, that's what I noticed. It's just like, I was not effective in life. I wasn't able to affect change. Ooh. I wasn't able to impact things that I wanted to. I was ineffectual. And that got very tiresome for me. It was like, no, there are things I want in this life.
Yeah.
And there's impact I want to have even in a positive way with friends. Like, I want to be, I want to create impactful. Yeah.
It's interesting because the word contribution has been actually just, in the orbit. And that's what it is I like that you said that you were not being effective. I mean, it is an effective quality to have, like, people pleasing, because some people do need to have that energy given to them.
Yeah.
But it wasn't being effective that you realized that it was actually, like, contributing to what you want to be contributing to in this world, in this reality.
And it wasn't deepening, people pleasing wasn't deepening my relationships.
Oh, wow.
It was weakening that, like, I feel like there's more respect, understanding, and depth in my relationships since I stopped people pleasing and just started being kind of an asshole sometimes.
I know that we got closer because I admired your boundaries. Actually, you putting up boundaries and knowing, like, no, this is what I want, really, like, clicked within me.
Yeah.
Of, like, I'm not kidding. I want to thank you for that, because I was just like, oh, I really respect this person and they're holding up boundaries in the most kindful way. And I'm like, that's how I want to do it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we've been on this little journey together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it took my heart exploding for me to learn it. So, you know,
with mine too.
Hey. Hey. It took me totally being destroyed for the pain to be big enough to force me to understand where I needed to change.
Yeah. Isn't it interesting that like there's a pattern there of any time that there's heartbreak that you reform and rebirth into something? That's why Taylor Swift's albums just keep getting better and better. She just goes through.
You're a Swiftie, huh?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm not.
Raimi's over here stoked right now. Raimi's crying back there. She's reminiscing on the Eras tour right now.
Oh. Wait, how was that? Yeah. You went twice. Yeah. Can I go? Yes. Okay. Dev, we're gonna make Dev go with us, or is that a boundary?
I probably wouldn't go.
Oh, so that's the queer. No. That's
no shade on the Swifties or Taylor Swift. It's just that's not where I'm putting hundreds of dollars of. Not for me. That's not where my hundreds of dollars.
Where am I putting my energy? Yeah,
I've got things that feed me. Yeah. Taylor Swift's not it. But eat. Everybody eat.
I'll eat Swiftie. Hey!
Now we're getting somewhere, Kelly. Amazing. Yeah, astrology, I know that's a big one. It's fun. It's fun to get into, guys. Just quit being so judgmental. Just have some fun. Get into the weirdness of life. It's fun. Boxes aren't so cool.
They're not. And anything resonates, right? Whatever, actually, you can listen to something, but if it doesn't resonate, then whatever.
That's true.
And if it does, you're like, wait, I needed to know that. Just look at the message and not where the vessel it's coming from and just.
Yeah. Where do you align spiritually these days, Kelly? You were Christian.
Yeah.
Then you were gay.
Yeah. Whole religion by itself. I would border Christian and gay.
Where do you find yourself these days spiritually?
That's a great question. I believe in all different religions and truths because I believe, again, what I was just saying of all that resonates.
Yeah.
But I mainly believe in energy. And if that's not a religion, but I believe in energy and I believe how people want to use that energy. Again, going back to like with giving and receiving whatever that energy is. So I just go by that language and everything else around it is just kind of just contributing to my belief.
Yeah. Yeah.
Very vague, but.
I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like a feeling with people that I've been trying to tap into more. I had Hanneke on, who's this great sensual arts teacher. Lovely voice. Could have heard her talk for 6 hours. Just her like British accent was just I was just like, keep going.
Yeah.
But she was talking about like we all have a sixth sense, and it's not seeing dead people, but it's our intuition. It's
yes,
it's our intuition, and I just
which in turn is seeing dead people.
Yeah. For some people, you know, that's theirs. But I loved that because that's been a huge part of my growing up as well. Is like you talked about energy. It's just like intuition for me is just learning to listen to that thing in me that is guiding me, learning to listen to what I know to be true, where I'm supposed to go, who I'm supposed to interact with, and not denying it, not judging it, not numbing it. Like have a good relationship with your intuition. And the more I've done that in my life, the better things have gone.
Oh, absolutely. It's pretty easy, right? We always complicate things. And then even when everybody has experienced this, is that when you come across somebody and you feel any type of awkward or tension, instead of just like, you know, dismissing it and just going over it, sit with it. And that energy, that feeling will tell you something. And it's like we don't have time to do that, but we do. It's pretty simple.
Right. Yeah. You don't have to just push over it and say everything's okay. Like, whatever that tension is, like, even being curious about it, it might shift. It's not to say like that little tension means don't engage at all, but it's just
that's what I'm saying. Ask it questions, right?
Just be there.
Yeah, because it could be like, oh wait, is this energy from like I don't feel safe, or is this energy feeling of tension feeling, oh I kind of like them, or they're making me find a different perspective of things. Like what is this? And then literally just like sitting with it. I don't think we ask ourselves enough questions.
Agreed.
And we're afraid to ask like a lot of deeper questions ourselves because we know the answer.
Yeah. If you like let yourself know it.
Exactly.
Yeah. And that like first intuition with people and friends is just a good indicator of things, and we should put more value on it. It's like, how'd you feel when you met that person? Like, because sometimes we end up being friends with people where it's like, no, I maybe wasn't aware of it, but I don't think I liked them from the very beginning.
From the very beginning, right?
Like, why was I ignoring that feeling?
We do that with relationships too. Is like our first date, right? First date, you meet somebody and you're like, okay, I feel this way. But then over time, we start bejeweling them with different things and different outsources. And it's like, okay, I guess that matters. And we convince ourselves to actually like be like, okay, we do like them.
Right.
When that initial feeling was like, no,
right.
No, not today.
Right. You
know?
Put ideas on them and expectations and potential and all those things rather than like, how do you feel about them when you're around
just
them?
Wholly.
Yep.
Because that first meeting is a energetic soul connection. And then we were like, well, they have this job and then they're going through this. And then like, well, they have this and these friends. And like, you start, again, just bejeweling them and you're like, doesn't matter. That soul connection meant the initial template, right?
That's it. Yeah. And everything's built from that. Yeah. Oh, I've said it on the pod before, but I'm going to repeat it until I really, really know it. But some of the biggest learning for me was recovering from my people pleasing was I used to empathize with why everyone else was the way they were, like empathize with all their reasons and their story and their backstory. Oh, their behavior's this because of that. Because it's actually a beautiful trait is empathy and understanding people. But I was doing it at the expense of my own story, my own opinion. What do I want? What behavior do I want to agree with? And it was such huge learning when I went like, wait, I'm empathizing with everyone else and I'm actually disconnected from my own what I want.
Yeah, exactly. I have a theory that that's where anxiety leads. Is that when we actually disconnect so much from who we are, we actually start getting frazzled within our own body. I mean, anxiety is many different things. Yeah. But to its core, I believe it's however it manifests itself is you not connecting with self. And that's where the anxiety is. Your body is literally telling you like, wait, what's going on? What do I believe? What's happening? I don't trust myself. It's not trusting self.
Do you have practices that you use to connect with self?
Oh, all the time.
What do you got?
My God. I mean, every day I wake up and I do meditation and I think we have a lot of answers in our dreams. And so, but when we wake up, we're on our phone, we're into the beta state, I like to say. It's beta is our actual what we're doing right now. And then we get out of our theta state, and theta state is where we have all the answers. Meditation is that right before you fall asleep and right when you wake up. And so I sit there and I ask questions of self and I spend time with self. I make sure I really, really know what my energy feels like, because when I go to the outside in the world, I am now mingling with different energies. I'm a huge like empathy person. Yeah. And a lot of people are, right? And so we put those energies on ourselves. And so I always have to maintain like going back to how does my energy feel? What is that? And of course, like working out, feeling body, movement. Movement is such a huge thing of feeling, okay, I'm in this reality. I'm here. I'm feeling myself. I acknowledge it, right? And then again, just the other experiences of just even talking to people and trusting. And Dev, actually, you have taught me a lot of trusting my word and trusting what my beliefs are. Because like through my breakup, I lost all sense of identity because I was neglecting it. Yeah. And so I had to regain my self-worth, regain self and be remembering of like, okay, I can trust myself. And I think our problem is just not trusting ourselves.
Yeah. And it comes with time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Comes with time, comes with heartbreak.
Does come. It's T-Swift.
Comes with pain.
She knows what's up. Yeah.
It really does. Like, man. And so, when I was a kid, I would see people in their 30s and like, some of them were great. Some of them had this like, just like
glaze,
this glaze over their eyes, this like shocked, numb glaze in their eyes.
Going through life, yeah.
And I never understood it when I was younger. And like now I get how you could arrive to a adulthood and all the things you go through and actually be at a place where it's not settling, where you're actually in a little bit of shock and just like numbness and not knowing how to process all it.
They're going to the day-to-day and doing their thing. They're going to a job they do not like and think that they need to do it, right?
Yeah.
Again, bejeweling it with things that they need to be doing.
Yeah.
And it's just, you really just start dissociating from life.
Right. And yourself.
And self, which is,
Right.
life and self.
Right.
In my book, the main topic, it talks about emotions. It's called the goddess of emotion, right? And it's because she's never felt before. She's an empath and she feels other emotions, but you can feel other people's emotions, but not actually understand truly what those feelings mean. And so in the beginning of the book, she's just this empath and she's like, okay, they're going through all these emotions and she's kind of still disassociating from life.
Yeah.
And then until she fell in love, that's when she really was like, holy shit. Oh my God, this is what breaking through and feeling alive. But then now going through all the different variations of feeling. And through feeling and through emotions, she started understanding who she is. Yeah. And that's what I really believe in life, is that if you do not feel, because society tells us not to feel, but if we go against society and tell us how to feel and understand why we're feeling something, we will understand ancient like information that we've had buried within ourselves, buried under trauma. That's why I love actors and actresses. They really have to really dig in and feel. That's why I love you guys. Like I think my whole group of friends are actors and actresses.
So many actors.
And they helped me. You guys have really helped me learn how to dance. And learn how to laugh like hysterically and cry. I used to not cry. And my friends were like, cry.
Yeah, no, go.
And there's information in your tears. Yeah. I fucking love you guys.
And we love you. Yeah, that is true. As actors, we're definitely more hungry for emotions. Like we're a little indulgent in them sometimes. It's like, oh, I'm crying. Oh, I'm crying. We're freaks, man. But feeling is it, man. It's it. I liken that to like the masculine and feminine, right? And like emotion and being willing to be with emotion and not control it and just like be with it and allow it is a feminine trait. Yeah. You know, not female, feminine. And we all have energy. Masculine and feminine. And like where toxic masculinity comes from, I think, is men who aren't in touch with their feminine. It's like they've cut off their connection to their own emotion. Yeah. And when you do that, you're going to distort as a being because...
Distort as a being. Wow, that's beautiful.
Yeah, you're going to like bend and like, you're going to become weird because emotions are happening whether we want them to or not, and they're in our body. Like, man, I can't tell you how many times over the last couple years I've been like going through something for like maybe months at a time, and I'm someone who thinks I am in touch with my emotions, right? Like I actively try to be.
I see that.
Right?
Yeah.
But still, it's hard. It's hard, and the bigger the pain, right, the bigger the difficult emotion, the harder it is to access, and like... there's been so many times over the last few years where I didn't even realize for months I've been running from a difficult emotion. And it took like either a friend, a breakthrough on my own, or in therapy, just going like having myself stop and have the mirror held up and go, oh, yeah, it's this feeling that I've been running from. This is why I've been feeling numb and disconnected, is because I've been running from feeling this. And as soon as I feel it, it might hurt a lot, but there's like more space.
Which feeling was that?
It's been different ones over the past few years, but like, I mean, it's all of them boil down to your emotions, they can feel complicated, but really they boil down to some core sentences. I'm alone.
Yeah. I'm abandoned.
Afraid.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Like they boil down to these core sentences, and intellectually you're like, I don't believe that. And it's like, it doesn't matter. That's what the feeling is saying. Yeah. Is, oh, I'm alone.
But what's interesting, and we've talked about this too, is that your mind shifting, your mind changing and being like, okay, since it's a feeling, it's an energy. I can actually transmute that energy.
Yeah.
Now that I know what it is.
Yeah, as long as you can access it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that you've accessed this, it's like, what am I going to do with it now?
Yeah.
And then transmute and be like, okay, well, I'm afraid of this because of this.
Yeah.
Well, okay, well, what if I do this?
Yeah.
Then I won't be fearful of this. And
Yeah.
transmuting that energy and even using that fear.
Yeah.
Again, that's what I love about ego is it's
Right.
It's
Use
using
Yes.
it as a power.
Yeah. Yeah. And just for me, it's like it's so easy to distract, like phones, coffee, weed, social media, friends. Like it's too easy to distract from those feelings that I cannot even realize I'm doing it.
Right.
Like,
I'm
like,
of us.
I didn't realize I've just been distracting myself. So just even like you said in the morning, even just taking time to ask myself, what am I feeling? Where's my energy at for the day?
Yeah.
What do I want? You know, what's there? What's present? Yeah, it helps.
Yeah, clearing energy as well as like, because when you wake up, you're still feeling something.
Yeah.
And then clearing that. But yeah, I want to go back to what you were saying with, oh my God, I just blanked.
Are you high?
Yes. Or obviously, I don't think I should actually touch upon that.
Kelly doesn't.
I do
Kelly
not
doesn't
smoke.
handle weed well.
I do not.
Kelly doesn't handle weed well. I watched her
Many times.
I watched her hit a bong way too hard on a camping trip, and I just said, "Uh-oh." And then I just watched her by the fire just spiral into the ground. And she goes, I gotta go to bed.
I gotta go to bed. That was not okay. And then I remained being paranoid in the tent, thinking I was dying.
I loved it because I knew you don't smoke weed, and then I saw you just rip this bong. Like, I don't even hit bongs like that.
This is toxic ego. This is toxic ego being like, yo, hand me that. I got this. And I was just like ripped one. Never knew. I literally had to have Chris.
Oh yeah, show you how to do it.
Show me how to do it. And then you're just across sitting in the hammock like, that was a big rip. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
Done.
Good times.
I haven't smoked since that day.
Yeah, that's okay.
Not even a gummy. Can't even do a gummy.
Yeah, it's not, different
body,
strokes for different folks.
My body literally will not, I don't think, break it down properly. Alcohol is fine.
Yeah.
I have control of that, but not marijuana, which kind of really sucks.
Yeah. I know. You're like, I want to be that person.
I want to smoke a joint with you or a spliff. Dude. And I'm like, it's so funny because like you guys would just smoke a spliff and I'd be like, yeah, let me hit that. And you're like, no, we're wasting our weed on you. And I'm like, I know.
And we're going to lose our friends. Yeah. You're going to hit it and then just like disappear.
And then I literally would go to bed. Yeah. Be like, all right, well then that's Kelly.
Yeah.
That's funny.
It's okay. That's you.
Yeah.
We get to travel this summer.
I know.
That's cool.
I'm so excited.
You've traveled because of your business. You've traveled like all over the world.
Yes.
Right?
I mean, not a lot of the Asian continent.
Okay.
But yeah, a lot.
Do you have an agenda to hit Asia? I haven't really gone much either. And
actually, do you want to go? I've been wanting to go to Japan.
Yep.
I was supposed to go pre-COVID, but then COVID hit.
Yep.
I want to go to Japan. I want to go to Thailand. I want to go to all those places.
Yeah. Maybe we'll figure something out next year.
Yeah.
Because we got Europe this summer.
We do. I'm excited. What are you most excited about?
Well, I always love being in Europe. I just love it. I love being there. But I'm most excited to be on a trip with you and Yordi. Like,
yes.
I love anyone who's in my life intimately at this point in my life is chosen for like, it's for sure.
Yeah.
There's no, like, it's for such a reason. And so when we get to spend good time together, I love it.
Yeah, me too.
I love getting to spend like quality time with you and Yordi.
Yeah, it's charging.
Yeah, exactly.
Like I know that you have some business travel coming up, and then so do I. So this is almost the last trip of the year, and I'm excited to do it to just be when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to France, and they're like, oh, for work, and it's like, no. I'm for vacation, and it's like, whoa, I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, you don't do a lot of that. I feel like you always like pair it with work. It's I took like a couple days off,
like work-life balance
during a work trip.
Yeah, but it's still just like not.
It's not the same as just being gone for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something we got to use if we're going to live this weird life of being artists in LA, not having 9-to-5s and not needing to ask people for time off work. Yeah. We got to use that.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's smart. It's again part of the balance, right?
Yeah. Cause mom, it's like my mom's hit this age where, you know, it's easy to hit. Hindsight is like it's easy to look on your life and learn things in hindsight. But you know, we do things for the right reasons at the time. And like my mom has lived her life the way she's lived. I mean, she raised me and my sister, thank the Lord. But she's in her 60s now and she's like, I've never been to Paris.
Oh
and
my
like,
God. Is she going to join us?
No.
Oh, that would be kind of fun.
But she's like, I've never been to Paris. And like, now I'm, you know, older and there's like pains and like, I need to do this sort of soon. And just that realization of like, man, if there's things you want to do in your life, go do them. Like, go get there. Get there as soon as you can, you know?
One of my like least favorite things to hear is, I got to save up, or, you know, like, I'll do that later kind of thing. And it's like, that is actually a procrastination of fear.
Yeah.
When you want something, I mean, as humans, we go after it, right? And yes, money does come into it. But if we actually just trust that we're going to make it happen, oh my God, everything aligns and you end up doing it.
Yeah.
So,
well, and I talked with Rami on this podcast about like, you can travel cheaper than you think.
Exactly. Oh my God.
You just got to actually commit to like, no, I'm going to find a cheaper flight and I'm going to find a affordable Airbnb or hotel. Like, and you just kind of, you get in there and you get a little cutty with it.
Exactly. Like,
and
oh
like
my God.
sell something in your garage and like, you can find ways.
To the point of like, I also believe in law of attraction and manifesting. So it's like, once you put your mind and you tell God, universe, source, whatever, I want to do this. Oh my God, everything starts to, you find the right ticket, or, you know, your friend's like, yo, you can stay with me here, or I have a friend of a friend. Everything literally comes to alignment.
That was me last summer.
I'm going off that story. I'm literally thinking of you.
I woke up, I was 31. I had wanted to go to Europe my whole 20s and didn't. And, you know, then the pandemic, and my life had gotten so small in the pandemic. I woke up, was 31, was like, oh my God, like, I have no girlfriend, like no job right now. The money wasn't really there, but I was like, this summer, I'm doing it. Yeah. I'm going. I'm buying a one-way ticket to Europe. Like, I don't care. I'm doing it. And I just trusted, like, I'm pretty much going to spend all my money going, but fuck it.
Yes.
And then right before I went, a deal came in that paid for my hotel.
Yeah. And then you also stayed with friends. Like,
I made it work.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's like you're just like, yeah, I want this.
Yeah.
And I know that's a lot harder than to actually do, but I don't think it is.
Right, it's both.
I think it's like, it's taking a leap of faith.
Yes.
It's just saying, I'm going to do this, and I trust that it's going to work.
Because I deserve life, and I want life. Like, I want things, you know? Be willing to want things.
Yeah. I want to learn. I want to see a different culture, a different community. I'm getting so stagnant in my day-to-day. I need it. As humans, we need it, dude.
Yeah, we need diversity.
You were still amazing, you know, doing what you were doing.
Oh, we were creating a ton, but like my life was like my apartment. You know?
Yeah, you're
like,
right.
we were creating a lot, but like just stagnant in diversity and variance of what's going on in my day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I got really inspired by you during COVID because you were creating and making the most of it.
Yeah, Theo and I were going in.
God, it was so inspiring because I was like, oh my God, I'm an artist. What am I doing?
Dude.
Going through a divorce. But yeah.
Hey.
But I wanted that in, like, you inspired me for that for sure.
I love it. Kelly, I love you so much.
I love you too.
I'm going to sell your book right now, okay? Kelly wrote a book. It's called Aphrodite's Sister. It's one of 3 books. The next 2 are going to come out after this, even though you've written them.
Yeah.
New publisher. It looks incredible. This is for any of you out there. I mean, especially if you're queer and working through that identity. But if you're an empath, if you feel that you feel more than those around you, if you feel a little in touch with magic that, you know, the people in your community don't see or connect to, if you're just going through that process of letting yourself be the weird little magical being that you are, or the weird little gay being that you are. This book is about that journey. And it's, it's a fun fantasy kind of romance novel with Greek gods and goddesses. It's lovely. It's written by the lovely Kelly Balch. I'm stoked. You're an author, dude.
Yeah.
That's crazy. I got to add that to my understanding of you, you know?
Do you want to write a book? I feel like you should.
I do.
Yeah.
But probably in like 10 years.
Yeah.
People like were telling me during COVID, like, write a book. And
yeah.
I don't think I'd want to write a novel. I'd want to write some kind of like memoir situation, but my life hasn't reached the places I want it to reach in order to do that. So it's like, it's later.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You were like, I still have growing. Cause like, yeah.
Fully. The story, like if I wrote it now, I'm like halfway through, I think. Like,
yeah.
There's not enough story there yet. I have stories.
Sounds like a sequel then.
The sequel to Devon.
The growing
Devon
up with Devon
2.
Yeah.
I love you so much. Do you have, it's a broad question, but do you have a life tip for our listeners?
A life tip, it would be to spend at least 20 minutes with yourself, remembering your energy and really trusting yourself, whether it be a small thing or a big thing. Just trust yourself. And the tools that you're given, use those tools.
All right, we're gonna do a little breath, and we're gonna welcome to LA, my listeners. We're gonna do a little breath.
Are we doing DMT?
No,
Okay.
that's later.
Okay.
I'm gonna show you how it's done. We're gonna breathe, and we're gonna say a couple affirmations on the exhale. Okay, you ready, Kelly?
Yeah.
We're gonna breathe in, and on the exhale, we're gonna say, "I belong."
Okay.
I belong. And now we're going to breathe in and we're going to exhale and we're going to say, I trust myself. I trust myself. And then we're going to breathe in and we're going to exhale and we're going to say, I'm enough. I'm enough. Something like that. Something like that.
This is why I love you.
I love you
One
too.
of the many reasons.
Yeah, I love you too.
Thank you for having me on here.
Thanks for being on.
Yeah.
We'll have you back on sometime, you know?
Yeah, that would be fun.
Yeah, maybe after our trip, we can regale people with stories of the south of France.
And our other rites of passage.
That's right.
Yes.
Which is what?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
We're going to be going on.
Oh, we're gonna pass through them.
Yes.
Amazing. I love you so much. People, check out Kelly Balch on Instagram. Are you Kelly Balch photo or just Kelly Balch on
Kelly Balch.
Kelly Balch on Instagram? We'll put it all in the YouTube notes. Aphrodite's Sister is out now on all the things, right?
Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, and yeah, you can Google it.
Yeah,
there.
Aphrodite's Sister. Get that if you're looking for a little fantasy, romance, accept yourself identity journey.
Some queer love. Yeah.
Some queer love.
Yeah.
Yeah, love you. Bye.
Thank you.